Hey guys, it's Courtney, your favorite Happy Camper Live counselor and your host of the podcast, My Camp. And you're joining me live today here in the HC. And I'm so excited to introduce my brand new camp friends. Three today. Today's like a 3-for-1. We have three guests, all from the same camp, Camp Sabra in the Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. So is that like out in the Midwest, Kim?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we're
Whoa.
tucked in between St. Louis and Kansas City.
So it feels like it's getting cold there, I'm sure. So I'm really excited. We have three friends today. I'm happy to introduce Kim Sloan, the director of Camp Sabra, Sam Deutsch, a longtime camper and now staff member, and also Coco, who just finished her camp career and is now entering the second stage as a counselor. It's a very big step. Welcome, guys, to the Girls HC. So first off, everybody has a camp story, right? What's your origin story, Kim?
Yeah, so literally in 1985, I came down to camp with gymnastics camp from the St. Louis JCC, and we got to come for 3 days and sleep in the rec hall, which is like not a very exciting place to sleep. And we got to be at camp for 3 days. And I literally remember sitting where I sat in the dining hall, watching camp go on and thinking to myself, like, I need to be here. I need to be here. This is a place I need to be. I still to this day have an overwhelming feeling of remembering that feeling. I can tell you the smell, everything. And the next year I came back to be a camper. I was a camper for 3 years. I came back to be a CIT. I was a nanny 1 year. I was staff for the little ones. I was a unit head twice. And then I left for 16 years. I had a total different career in the entertainment industry in Los Angeles.
You thought there was a better life outside of working at camp?
Well, which is why after 16 years, I said there's not a better life outside of camp. And when we decided it was time to leave the entertainment industry, the very first place I looked was the St. Louis JCC, and the assistant director of camper retention and recruitment was available. And 3 months later, I began as the assistant director, and I was that for 8 years. And then I started in 22 as the director, and I'm about to go on my third year as the director. So I'm literally that camp kid, as I like to say, who just got on the bus. I didn't know anyone coming in except for my older sister, who couldn't have cared that I was there. And I just got on the bus. So I love telling my story because I think that my story actually resonates to so many campers who just gets on the bus.
And I almost feel like it was like a cruel to just give you those 3 days. Like, we're just going to give you 3 days. Ha ha.
Yeah. Yeah. What's cruel is if you saw where they had us sleep. I mean, we were on concrete. But yeah, like I literally was like, this is fantastic. I couldn't care less.
And do you live so Camp Sabra is a sleepaway camp. So do you live then at camp? Do you have your house on camp, your camp all year long?
During the off season, I'm with my family in St. Louis, and then for the summer, so pretty much from May until August, then I'm at camp.
Awesome. All right, Sam, what's your story? Let's hear it.
So a little different from Kim. Sabra's a family thing for me. My grandparents both went to not Sabra, but what was there before Sabra, Hawthorne. And now my mom went for 16 years, and she's now the associate director. And now all four of my siblings have gone. My dad, who's not even a camp person now, he drives boats at camp. So it's a family ordeal for all of us. I went as a camper for 8 years, and now this is going to be my 4th year on staff, and it's very exciting.
Wow. All right. And last but not least, Coco.
Okay, so I don't live in Missouri, so I just had friends, and I remember they had a meeting and everyone just went, all my friends, or not a meeting, but Sabra came to Houston where I live. And so they came and I went and I was like, this is so fun. And I went with my siblings. It was all of our first year. And I'm actually in the unit below. So I technically should have done my last year 2 years ago, but I stay with the unit below because it's fun. And I just have been going for about 8 years, and I just finished my last year, which is called Masada.
And you'll be returning as a counselor this summer. Is that correct?
Yes, I will.
Wow, that's a big job. All right. So, Kim, tell me a little bit about the program. What is your summer program like there? What do you offer?
So we are on 205 acres of land. We are on 3.5 miles of shoreline. So we love our lake. We are prime property on our lake. So we have a sail dock, a swim dock, a ski dock, plus a slide that goes right into the lake.
Saw that on the video, by the way. The slide is epic. And I think everybody in the video, tubing was their favorite activity. So it says a lot about the power of a really great waterfront.
Absolutely. And then on top of it, we also have a pool. And then we also have all of your land sports, low ropes, high ropes, zip line, your fine arts from theater to arts and crafts to singing. We have Judaics, we have Tarbut, which is Judaic programming throughout, or Judaic culture throughout the world in the form of cooking, arts and crafts, and dance. So our Judaics is actually woven through activity at camp. We're not a sit-down classroom type environment. We also have some other things like wacky science and health and happiness, which could be yoga, meditation, journal writing. And we go on trips. So our campers head out, starting going into the 6th grade. They go on 3-day river trips throughout Missouri. And as they get older, their trips get longer, all leading up to Masada, which is our rising 10th graders who go on a 2-week Colorado adventure. And Sam and Coco can definitely tell you about that because they both did that adventure. Coco just came from it, and Sam did it a couple of years ago. So we are really that residential camp that has a little bit of everything for everyone. So whether you're an outdoor kid or you're considered an indoor kid, we have stuff for you all over.
Are you a session camp? How do you hold
2-session camp?
Okay. Do any kids stay for the whole summer that are in it to win it?
A couple. Sam used to.
All right. So Sam, talk to me about what's a day in the life at Camp Sabra?
Yeah, so we all wake up together, and sometimes, after a whole night of playing cards and hanging out, it's early mornings, but then you get to breakfast and the energy is there, and everyone is at breakfast and lunch and dinner. So that's a really good place to connect with your family and your friends, the people that you know coming with you from camp but may not live in your cabin. And then our day is split in half. If before lunch and after lunch. Before lunch, we do focus activities where the campers get to pick from a list of activities of things they're interested in. So if there's someone that is more into music, they'll music focus. And then, if we figure out that you're into swimming, then maybe the pool will be offered to your age group. So that's the morning. The morning, you don't necessarily travel with your cabin mates, but you might see some people along the way. And then the afternoon after lunch is our cabin activities. So that's when you hit every single area at camp and you go with your cabin and sometimes with a couple other cabins. So that can be anything from tubing to making a cabin video. And then, after dinner, we have our evening programs, and that's split up usually by unit, so by age group, and that's everything from messy Olympics to campfires and overnights, and so that's about the day schedule.
Do you are each of the sessions like unique, or are they kind of like a cut and paste from each one?
I'll answer
For
that.
the
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sam. Do you want me to answer?
Oh no, you go.
I was going to say typically it's a mirror.
Okay.
However, last summer we tried something new, and we had two giant events. We gave first session one giant event, and we gave second session a different giant event. So first session we brought in, as a surprise, had never been done before, we brought in silent disco. We started with a staff social at night. We said no phones are allowed. Meet at the dining hall at 10:30. And they opened it up, and we had just a giant rave like setting for silent disco. So they got to experiment it with it first and experience it first. We had a spread of food and everything. Then 2 days later, we did it with all of camp. We brought them in like unit at a time and had so much fun. Second session, we did something different. We had kind of like a Coachella for Sabra. We called it Sabra Palooza. We brought back song leaders from the past, and we had a giant, I feel like it was like an 8-hour music festival all day long and into the evening. And then it ended at night with a giant rave, again, in the dining hall for staff that they didn't know about at night, which was really fun.
So now you're stuck. Now you have to continue with these really cool events. But you know what? The great thing about that is they're just even new traditions, even if you continue on with them without having to create something new. We did silent disco at our sleepaway camp for the older kids, and it was probably one of their favorite things that they did all summer long. I mean, I'm still hearing about it from my daughter.
Same. I literally had like 13-year-olds walk out and be like, that was the best program ever. And I was like, I've never heard a 13-year-old say that to me before, ever. So that was amazing. Yes. Right? Exactly. Both programs were absolutely phenomenal. So will we switch and let the other session do it this year? I don't know. Just have to sign up for camp and wait and see.
There you go. Keeping you on your toes at Camp Sabra. You never know what to expect. So Sam, you mentioned reveille. So what time are you, how do you get up in the morning? Is it like, can you like get up easy, or is it blaring on a speaker? And what time does that generally happen?
It happens at about 8 o'clock. Oh, well, I guess breakfast is at 8. So I think it's a little earlier than that. The older kids sometimes on certain days get to sleep a little later because their schedule the night before ends a little bit later. But some kids are up by, we got our early risers, especially in the younger ages. They're up and running by, 5:30 or 6 in the morning. And I can tell you that's not their counselor's favorite thing, but we let them go outside and stay in the area, and they play cards. And there's kids that without drinking coffee act like they're on a cup of coffee already by the time I'm waking up. But it's some kids we have fun getting up every day, and some kids it's a little bit of a struggle, but I see that just as they had fun, the night before and ready for the next day.
Yeah, there's always a lot of early morning. I was gonna say there's always a lot of early morning tennis players, the young boys out there getting that early morning energy out.
So Courtney, one year I don't know, this might have been like 2015 or 16, we Googled the world's most annoying song, and we discovered it was the duck song. So we have these speakers that go into the villages, and every morning at 7:30, 7:20, something like that, we played the duck song, which is
I have a hard time visualizing that.
Coco, so you want to sing it?
How does that go? The duck song.
The duck walked up to the lemonade stand, and he said to the man running the stand, "Hey, bum bum bum. Got any grapes?"
Yeah.
We played it every single day, and we never said a word. Nothing. And every once in a while we'd be standing at the office and a kid would walk by and just like, you kind of see him like popping his head, because in some places of the village you can hear it really loud, in some places it was really soft. And there was one kid who finally walked up and was like, "You've got to change that song, like the speakers right at our cabin, please change that song." Like, we laughed so hard, we just never told camp what we were doing, we just did it.
Oh, I think you need a song for 2024. What's going to be your Reveille song for 2024? So there, I'm giving you some homework. What's the next annoying song?
It's a good
one.
All
right, Coco, talk to me about girls' camp. How is it? Are you guys together? Are you separate? How does the boy-girl thing work at Sabra?
Yeah, so we have two villages, the blue and the green village, and I'm in the green village, which is well, usually it's everyone's together. There's a bathhouse, a shower house in the middle, and there's just showers, bathrooms. So there's not actually bathrooms in the cabin, but you're all, which is, I mean, if you're me in my cabin, we were all the way down the hill. So it was quite the climb every morning. We had a nice little nature stroll every morning, but we would climb, we'd go there, and it'd be all the units, all the girls. So there's Sharon, Ayelet, Habonim, and then Masada. And this year I was in Masada, and that's guys and girls together. We're in tents and we're completely separate from the green and the blue village. And then the same goes with the guys village with the shower house and all of that.
So as you get older, they put you in tents. So you don't get to be the oldest, and then they put you in like the air conditioned cabins and all that. Wow. So we're going to put you in tents. That's crazy. So you mentioned like shower houses. And you don't have bathrooms. So what about toilets? Like toilets as well? Not in the bunk. You have to walk to the. Oh my God! That would kill me.
Between you and me. Yeah, between you and me, not every time did I make it to the shower house.
Gotta do what you gotta do, right? When nature calls, you gotta do what you gotta do. So now, let's talk about food. Food is such an important part of camp. A meal will make and break your day. Okay. The dessert in it alone can totally put the icing or no icing on your day's cake. So let's talk food. What are some of your favorite meals at camp?
I would say that they have a favorite meal at camp. Sorry. Oh, you know what? Our chef is amazing. His name's Kevin. He runs an amazing kitchen, and he also, let me just say, we will always have a camper come here, no matter an allergy or pickiness. We can provide for anyone. We eat family style, but we can provide for anyone. And he really started something this year that everyone went crazy on, and I love, which is chicken fried rice, and he makes homemade egg rolls. It is phenomenal. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody make like egg rolls for 500 people. First, it's fun to watch, but also it is so good. So that's actually my favorite meal, is the chicken fried rice.
And what are the kids like? What do the kids go crazy for?
So the go crazy meal at our camp is grilled cheese day.
Okay.
As you grow older, though, you kind of realize it's not all you thought when you were a kid, but they have fun with it. They have competitions for who can eat the most grilled cheese, and it's a fun day in the dining hall. I have to agree with Kim here. I think the chicken fried rice is the new it could be the new hype in the next couple of years.
All right, you see it's trending, #trending food in the.
Yeah, I agree.
Trending meal. What about you, Coco?
Okay, so this year in Masada, we also make our own food sometimes. So, 2 weeks we left Missouri to go to Colorado, and we were making our food every single day. And when we were on top of the mountain when we were doing a 2-day hike, we made mac and cheese, and it was the most delicious thing I've ever had. I don't know if I was hungry, but it was like, my friend also went, but she went second session, and she was like, the mac and cheese, dude. And I was like, yep. But I love that. But yes, with the grilled cheese, when we were younger, everyone had competition. Someone would be like, I had 8, and someone else would be like, well, I had 10. It was
I think there's a camp record.
Yeah.
I think there's a camp record. What's the camp record?
I don't know, but yeah, there's definitely
It's high up there
competition.
too. It's kind of gross high up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I know someone that did 15, but I don't know if that's the
Oh.
record.
I think 15 that's the number I was gonna say. I feel like someone got 15 in there. I don't know how long it lasted, but
It's a lot of grease. It's a lot
Any
of grease.
pukers? Have you
15
had
grilled cheese.
a puker? Any grilled cheese pukers from the competition?
for sure. We're on top of it. Like to get up to our dining hall, you have to kind of climb stairs and then climb more stairs. And there's so now you're like on the deck and we've definitely, right over.
All right. What about birthdays? Okay, that's another favorite. How do you do a summer birthday?
Coco, do you want to explain the birthdays?
Yes. Okay. So when someone has a birthday, we sing, happy birthday, and then we sing it in Hebrew, and then
Oh, can we sing it in Hebrew?
hi.
Coco,
That's
you
all
did
Sam. That's
one
all
job.
Sam. That's all Sam if he wants to down.
No, no, Coco, you said the sing word.
Coco, you
That's
said the word.
Yeah.
That's the magic word, guys. Wah, wah. You win. You said the sing word. I'll let you sing it in English, whatever you feel more comfortable doing.
Okay. Well, we first
Can we do it like a faster version of it instead of like?
Girl, this is your show. You go however you want to do it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. You go through, and then it's skip around the room, skip around the room. We won't shut up.
Shut up. So you skip around the room.
And then it's go the other way. And then it's stand on your head. And the person.
And then it's pick your nose.
In your cabin. Oh, yeah. And then sometimes there's a pick your nose in there. Don't know if anyone's actually done it.
But or a lick the floor.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely one.
Sometimes we go on forever.
Pre-COVID, it was lick the floor. I think we tried to stop that actually a couple of years ago.
Because you know the kids will do it. Lick the floor. Some boy will get on the floor and lick it like a champ. And you're just great.
Yeah.
Or the counselors. Like we've seen counselors. We've seen the assistant director lick the floor before, you know.
I mean, that's your mom, right? Is it the assistant
director? No, different one.
Okay, I was gonna say you better watch what you say about that assistant director on here.
No, she didn't lick the floor. Her birthday's in January.
All right. Wah wah. So what about traditions? So before traditions, so I see on your shirt, Kim, that it says what's 1980? 1970. Yeah. But there is the camp goes back to like 1938. Could you give me a little bit of background about that? Because I know, Sam, you said your grandparents went there. So just this little history 101, Camp Sabra, go.
Yeah. So Camp Sabra got started in 1970. And again, the St. Louis JCC owns Camp Sabra. But before that, it was Camp Hawthorne, which, Sam, your grandma went, correct?
My grandma and grandpa went.
And before Hawthorne, so Hawthorne bought the property then from Wakanda, which actually the property was, I think, a little bit a ways, correct, Sam?
Yeah, the Hawthorne property was across the lake. The Wakanda property was the one where Sabra is now. Mm-hmm. But Hawthorne was owned by the J or some other Jewish, so that's kind of how they're connected.
So we just have so many campers and staff who are actually second and third generation that go here, which is absolutely amazing. So not only do so many just cousins meet up at camp, I mean, we're in the middle of the country, which is so great. It's easy to meet up at camp, but also we have, a lot of people just like Sam who their grandparents, their parents, like they are just generation after generation coming here. And that's really, what we strive for. We like to say we're more than just a 4-week summer camp. We meet up during off season. They meet up at BBYO conventions. They go and visit each other at colleges. They work at camp, etc. And now it's just this great full circle.
It's great. It was interesting to hear how it had, changed hands a couple times and changed names, but that people were still able to rally together and continue to make this a place, a camp for kids. And, you don't always see that as much. Camps, sometimes they close. So it's great to see that Sabra has lasted the test of time and pandemic and all that kind of stuff as well. All right. So with a long history, 1938. There's a lot of really great traditions. Sam, what are some of your favorite traditions? With your long-standing family history, you have to have a few.
Yeah, I mean, I think my favorite has to be Shabbat. We, in my opinion, I think there's nothing better than like a community camp Shabbat uh, down at the lake. We have two different, basically, chapels. One that we use for Friday nights, and then one that we use for Saturday mornings. And they're both looking out on the lake. It's crazy that a summer camp gets this amazing land in like the Lake of the Ozarks, which is an extremely like expensive land area. But since we got it in 1938, we get views that are actually worth millions of dollars. So that's what I think is really cool. You look out and it's just everyone's there and arm around each other, and it's a fun time. And then we go upstairs and we celebrate after. So it's like a Shabbat party almost, with music and you know
I watched the video, and I got a little emotional during your Shabbat portion, and you always love that after shower Friday night look, but everyone was dressed up, and it just was something that you could just tell was really special and that the kids took seriously. And I was moved. Really great. What about you, Coco? What's your favorite tradition?
I have to say also Shabbat, something really special that we do that's kind of just like keeps you coming back, especially for me, is we do Shabbat players, which is that celebration after. And as you get older, the longer you get to stay. And so if you're just saying Sharon, which is in Golan, which are like 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, they leave pretty early in. And then when you get older, it keeps going on and on. So this was my last year as a camper, and I was there till the very end, and it was just the most fun experience. You're with your unit, it's all of your friends, and you feel like you finally made it to the top.
And so how late is that ending time as a Masada?
I actually am not sure. It's probably 9-10, which doesn't seem like a lot, but
I know camp time, that is very late. Okay. Very late. Say no more.
Yeah, in Masada, you don't really get to carry a watch, so you actually don't know how long or how late things are. But
now that is the luxury of camp right there, where it doesn't. What day is the weekend? It doesn't matter unless it's Friday or Shabbat. That's the only time for the day of the week it really matters, and it's such a beautiful thing. So, Kim, what about you? Last but not least, your tradition.
Sure. So, I mean, obviously Shabbat, but so that all three of us don't say it, I will also tell you that on the very last night of camp, we have two major awards that we give out. So one is the Mensch Award, and it's given out to a female and a male camper. And it's voted on by all of staff and any previous Mensch winners. And it's really for those two campers who just throughout camp are there to help one another. Always you don't have to always be in a good mood, but they're always positive. They not only can talk to campers, but they can talk to staff. When there are two choices to be made at camp, they're okay being an upstander and saying that's not the right choice. Let's do the right choice. There's also a Skipper Award, and the Skipper Award is like the Good Sportsmanship Award. Again, one to a female, one to a male. And again, it's someone who, they don't have to be the best athlete at everything. It's someone who just gives it their all every time they go to an area for their focuses or their cabin activities. So that when the staff show up, they're like, oh, we're so excited because this person's going to be here. And they're always like so great and they're helpful. They clean up. And again,
whoa,
right? And it's nominated by staff. It's huge. It's such a big award. So on the last night of camp, we give out a lot of awards. Those campers and staff who've been there for 3 years, they get a carabiner. 5 years, you get a short sleeve shirt. 7 years, you get the 5-year shirt. 7 years, you get the long sleeve shirt. And then we go inside and it's quiet and everyone sits in a giant circle. And we have all previous winners, campers and staff, stand up, say their name and what award they won, maybe even what year. And then those from the previous year come up to the front with two candles. And we start to announce the mensch winners and then the skipper winners. And I obviously know who it is. And so I was like kind of the staff or the camper are all in like a big circle. And I literally like watch them as I'm like describing the person, here's someone who is just always there for their cabin. When things are going wrong, this person is always choosing the right path. And I start to explain who this person is. I start general and I get really specific. And I'm watching that person listen about themselves. And then we eventually reveal their name. The last clue is usually like an obvious clue. And then they get to come up and they come up with the winner from before. They get a candle. And the previous winner has spent the afternoon writing something about them. And so they talk about that camper. And then so everyone gets a chance to do that. And then they do the lighting of the candle, and last year's winner then blows out their candle so that then the new winners are there. It's so special. It is such an honor. I get choked up at times, like when I'm like describing these campers that I've known for years. It's amazing. That is probably one of like my favorite parts of being able to it's probably one of my favorite times I get to call a parent and say, guess what I just did, or was able to do, because who doesn't want to hear that their child is, menschy.
Right. Oh man. Yeah. That is so, wow. That is just so incredible. So what's next for Camp Sabra? What's on the agenda for the future of Camp Sabra?
What is next on the horizon? So, it's after COVID and we're finally, last year was probably the first summer, in my opinion, that we weren't a camp that was having camp with COVID on our brains, with COVID sitting on our shoulder. Okay, we can do this, but we'll have to do it this way. We can do this, but we'll have to do it this way. And last year we really didn't have to do that, which was amazing. And we truly believe that this upcoming summer, we really won't have to do that.
We are.
So we also, like many camps across the country, hit a staffing crisis in 21. We almost had to cancel 60 of our youngest camper males because we didn't have enough staff. And that has flipped around. And I'm going to kind of let Life Director kind of tell you where we're at today, because we are so great. But I'll let Sam say it, because I will tell you that staff life last year was so amazing. And we really flipped the switch in that for staff, it's not necessarily just a job. It is, but it's not a job. It's an experiment. It's an experience. It is their experience for the summer. And we made that first and foremost. And by the way, at the end of summer, here's a paycheck is really what we did. Sam, do you want to kind of say like what's exciting?
Yeah, so we have, like Kim said, just made a very big, it's not new, it's bigger and better than ever, like dedication to our staff, because, like Kim said, they're giving up their summers too, and they're giving up a job that will probably pay more, or an internship or something. But we do believe that camp is the best thing that you can be doing as a staff member. So, we try to do something every night, whether that's just a snack or whether that's this year. My favorite thing that we started was an all staff like hide and seek around our camp, and to an extent.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, so we did 2 rounds, and like Kim said, we have 205 acres of land. Now, we didn't go to all of it, but people got clever. Like we had the night before we had our like Sabra carnival, so there was a filled up dunk tank of water. Someone hid in the dunk tank of the water, and like they won. And they won, of course, but besides that, we really are trying to emphasize like checking in on our staff more and making sure that like just like a camper would, that there's someone that's kind of caring for them. And that's kind of what we're doing with the staff life department, I like to call it, because we're growing it. We're growing the budget for it. We're growing the staff for it. And it's really exciting because our staffing numbers this year, Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're up to like 150 applications, which more than that, which is, we don't usually have this by November 17th, but we do. And it's,
I know, and I think that's a vibe that we're feeling all over. I know I'm feeling it at my camp, whereas when we got the international staff back, at internationals that came in 22, did not come back last year, saw what an awesome time they were missing out on, and now are coming back for 24. So I think 24 is just going to be sick. It's going to be great. I've never been so excited about going back to camp this early in the year.
Last year at that time, we got in 86 applications. We had never seen applications come in that fast before. And again, we had been in a staffing crisis. This year, we got in 149 applications by that amount of time. Like, just crazy. So we actually have a wait list to work at camp for some age groups for both sessions. So we have
never thought you'd hear that come out of your mouth ever,
never.
Huh?
Like, absolutely never. That's what I'm saying. We are so grateful. We're so in awe. Like, so many people had so much to do with this last summer. Everything from Sam and staff life to our admin team that was there, to our unbelievable senior staff who was there last year and just helped make such a great vibe at camp and make it so people not only want to come back, but they want to tell their friends and have them come too. So we're so excited. So you were saying, like, what's on the front? One other thing I want to say, because we're so excited about it, is we're doing something new. And again, I'm going to let Sam talk about it because this is his creation and his baby. Sam and I sat down in October for lunch at our little lunch place. And he was like, I have an idea. And you're going to say no, which is always my favorite way to start a meeting. Because I'm like, I'm like, I love this. And he said, what if we go on tour and we visit all of our staff members? And we also visit people who, like, we're going to come to their city and, we can interview them. We can have office hours. We're going to do fun events, like all this kind of stuff. And we're like, and I looked at him and I just went like, okay. And like ate my pastrami sandwich. And I was like, this is great. We're doing, I'll say the name of the program, and then Sam can tell you a little bit about it, but it's going to be in January and it's called the Sabra Staff Tour 2024 8 in 8. So 8 in 8. So Sam.
So yeah, we are visiting 8 different US cities in 8 days. No joke there, no breaks. We have never before done a trip solely dedicated to staff. In the past, we've done like dinners and lunches and stuff when our year-round staff were in like the cities doing camper recruitment and things. But, Kim and I really talked that we need something that is fully dedicated to staff. And so we're doing everything from NBA basketball games, and we're going to Dave and Buster's in the city. And so it's going to be quite a fun time. It's going to be quite a marathon. We already have like maybe 27 staff signed up for it. And that's like in the first 2 days with very little marketing for it. So I think it's going to be a really cool time. And hopefully, it's not a recruitment trip, it's a relationships trip of keeping our relationships with our staff, our past, present, and future staff, and also just Sabra alumni that have a small thought of becoming staff but don't know yet what they want to do and how they want to do it. So
you said it, Sam, relationships. It's all about building those relationships and making those staff feel like family. Because I know sometimes new staff that weren't campers trying to fit in, find your place, and to know that, yeah, man, hats off. That is a great idea. And I think your head of arts and crafts need to make you a shirt. Like, you need an 8 and 8 swag shirt for this trip. And I think that you are doing an amazing job, and all those staff that are going to be at Sabra in 2024, they're a lucky group. Really, I can see it. Great.
Yeah, and
job.
I mean, I will say one bonus that Kim didn't mention was our staff recruitment bonus, and I think it's really cool because this recruitment bonus has kind of always been there. If one staff brings another staff to come to camp, and that staff, works, then that person that recruited them gets a certain amount of money based on how long they work. But it's always been there. It may not have always been used as much, but like we've never had to use that bonus more than we have in like the last 2 years. Like people are bringing their friends to come work at camp. We have new staff that it's crazy every day. Like I've been going to camp. This will be my 12th year going, and I look around and we see staff that came the night before, and it's like they're already like vibing with everyone, and it's like I think we're starting to become a lot bigger of a staff community, and we're spreading a lot thicker, with like a lot of different diverse like activities and where people come from and how they got there.
This will be my 7th summer heading into 2024, and I'm always recruiting. I want to bring my friends with me to camp. Come to camp with me. Come to camp. Oh, because whether you're a camper or you're a staff, you're going to make your best friends at camp. I made my best friend at camp, and ours is for 7 weeks, and when you break bread for 150 meals with the same handful of people, I mean, there's families that don't spend that kind of time together during the year. So that's another positive thing for camp. But I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today here in the Girls HC at my camp. I wish you guys the best rest of your off season, and I know it, Kim. I want to have you come back after 2024 so we can talk about what an amazing summer 2024 was, and I'll share stories and you can share stories, and we'll just like reminisce over the incredibleness of what will be 2024. So thank you guys for joining us today in the Girls HC. It has been a pleasure learning all about Camp Sabra in Lakes of the Ozarks. I wish you guys the best summer of 2024. If you want to listen to more of the My Camp podcast, you can hear it where you listen to your podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We also have a killer YouTube channel. You can watch all of Happy Camper Live on YouTube, and we're also featured on Happy Kids TV, also on YouTube. So look forward to seeing you back here in the Girls HC, and I'll save us more for you.
Take a moment to shine.